Hey, it's Jakey and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another taco video for you. You've seen me make tostadas, how I prepare my ground beef for tacos. So this pizza is inspired from a local pizzeria we have around here. It's actually a chain. I know they're throughout the United States. I saw one when we were in Kentucky, but Godfather's Pizza. We on occasion, especially when I was younger and could burn the fat, would go to a pizza buffet frequently. Matt and I would. And they had a taco pizza on their buffet, and it's the only place I've ever ate it, but I want to make it at home. So I have pizza dough going. I love making homemade pizza dough. I've shown it in my stromboli, and I'm using it in this recipe. So I have the pizza dough going. I'm using Taco Bell sauce. I have 2 of these packets left from taco kits, and we're gonna throw all the toppings on there. This is another Taco Tuesday. This is a collaboration hosted by Leanne's Life. I will link to both Leanne's channel and the playlist below. And other ladies are sharing their taco ideas. Last week I shared with you how I made my ground beef. I'll be sure to share that at the end. And we're gonna get into making a taco pizza. The starting ingredient is honey. I am actually making a batch and a half of this. Now I have my hot water. Actually freeze my yeast, and then I pull it out as I need it. I know some people freeze it and then pull out a smaller container for their fridge. For me, this is easier. Don't stir it, let it set. So once the yeast, the warm water, and the honey sits for about 10 minutes, I add in the olive oil, some salt, and then I slowly start to add in the all-purpose flour. I'm gonna leave the exact measurements down below. This is a recipe I found years ago on Pinterest, and I've used it from everything from personal pan pizzas to strombolis and calzones and now a taco pizza, and I really love it. This dough is so easy to work with, but I always take the recipe that she shares and I do 1.5 times it just so that we can have extra dough if I need it, but I always use it all. And you'll see that this makes an entire large pizza for my family and 2 smaller ones so that I can make ones without meat since I have a daughter that doesn't like to eat meat. And now that my dough is all set, I am going to let it rise for an hour. I have just oiled the bowl so that it doesn't stick to the sides. I'm covering it and I will be back an hour later. I always let it sit longer than an hour whenever I get back to it, but try to aim for an hour, and I'm always amazed at what it looks like when I'm done because the dough rises so much. So here I am just rolling it out, and now is the time where you knead it and you make it into basically an elastic ball that you can work with. So I am just kneading it, making sure that it's not going to be sticky. That's why I have all the flour on my hands and on the countertop. If you're familiar with dough, you'll be familiar with that process. But now I have a non-sticky ball of dough and I'm able to roll it out, and this is obviously going to be the crust of my pizza. I am cutting out parts because it takes quite a while to make it perfect, but once I had it nice and flat and even without any creases, I added it onto my pizza pan, which I love using a pizza stone. I added parchment paper because I've had problems. This is a cheaper pizza stone. I had a Pampered Chef one that never had problems sticking, but my replacement was not Pampered Chef, and I regret it because my dough does sometimes stick to the stone, but I still like the way it bakes. So I added parchment paper, and then I just trimmed the excess, and I'm turning that into a second mini pizza. But now that I have my dough ready, I can add the Taco Bell taco sauce. If you don't have a packet like this, you can also use the jar. It's the exact same thing. This is mild. If my kids weren't eating this, I probably would have gone with a hot or the fire, but the mild is perfect for this if you don't need the heat. So if you've built pizzas before, this is nothing different than using a pizza sauce. And now I am adding on my pre-cooked taco meat. This is something that I do to save time for every single taco dinner, as I use a frozen bag. I pull it out before I need to use it and it'll be nice and soft, and my taco meat is already prepared. I make them in like 8 to 10 packages at a time. It just depends on how much I have in the end, but this was perfect for 1 large pizza and a personal pan pizza. You can see I left a little bit out. Now that the meat is all spread out, I am adding cheddar cheese on top. I just kind of went with whatever sounded good for this, and you know, if you have taco toppings that sound good to you, add them to your pizza. There is no right or wrong. This is just like any other pizza. And then I am also adding this quesadilla cheese from Walmart, and these are my toppings that will be added after my pizza bakes. But when you know, as soon as my pizza's ready to go, my oven breaks, and I had to drive it 10 miles to my in-laws' house. So suddenly we are changing directions, and this is my pizza that baked for 20 minutes at 425. You can go as long as you need. I wanted to make sure that it was nice and crispy, so I always check the bottom of the crust and I make sure that it's brown and bubbled on top. It's gonna depend on your oven and exactly how long it takes you to bake, but just watch it. So now that the pizza is baked, I'm adding my fresh chopped ingredients. I first added lettuce, cilantro, then green onion, and I am adding tomatoes. I only added tomatoes on half of the pizza because my husband didn't want them on his part. So I had tomatoes on half, and there was a half without tomatoes, but let me tell you, it's better with tomatoes. All of those fresh ingredients are so important to a taco pizza. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a ground beef pizza. You need to add the fresh stuff, and I am adding more quesadilla cheese on top. Again, just like when you make a taco or you get one at a restaurant, you have that yummy, creamy, cold cheese on top. And then because I do love heat, I added sriracha on top. So is that a yay or a nay for you? I personally absolutely love taco pizza, and I was excited to share it with you. I want to know what toppings you would put on yours that I missed. I know people are going to say black olives. I know you're going to say fresh onion, and those are two things that I would have loved, but most people in my family, or at least 2 to 3, would have picked those off. So I stuck with a general consensus, and then we could put whatever we wanted on there. And don't forget to check out my taco meat dinner, where I share with you how I make Taco Bell-like meat, and it makes any taco dinner, including taco pizza, a whole lot easier. Links right there, guys. Thank you.